takeoff and off.
He will be rotating and he jumps into the air. The Bosbok Aerobatic Italia aircraft, he was flown in the whole of the Southwest African campaign as a reconnaissance aircraft. They could be fitted with rocket packs as well. And most of the work they did in the Southwest African campaign was to do with reconnaissance, having cameras on board. Turns at the controls.
Get a reverse around, if you touch the flaps to about 70 flaps, just down there, come out the corner.
Van de eerste speed. De speed van
Approaching now, about 85, 90 knots, come down, accelerating to about 100 knots.
The South African Atlas Aircraft Corporation developed from the Bosbok the Kudu, the A4M I think it was called, which is then a transport version. It had exactly the same wings and engine as the Bosbok, same tailplane, but had a box fuselage and used to carry 6 fully kitted parabats basically. And a lot of these guys were dumped off deep in Africa. So he's pulling back on the controls there to keep his nose up to make sure he doesn't descend on the turn. Maintaining his speed nicely and his altitude perfectly. And he'll be flying through his own turbulence right about now. Photograph of the plane from all the aircraft there, all the
Here we go, folks. Look at this. Look at this. Don't bring the aircraft in yet, so we'll be bringing it at a 65 knots, wheels touching. And we're going to ask John just to keep his tail in the air, just for the photographers, because he landed a little bit.
So he's keeping his tail in the air for you guys. Watch this, folks. Isn't that beautiful? Tail still in the air. Can you believe it, folks? Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. No wear and tear on that tail wheel whatsoever. Beautiful display from John Timms, waving to us from the cockpit of his aircraft. We get all the way back, folks. Yeah, thanks for the...
Was that eject?
Ja, kom maar.
Martin Vetter in the air, and Brian says we apologize, small technical error. Oh, it's load shedding. Oh, it's load shedding. So it's got nothing to do with the technical people on the ground.
Let's be focused on the 5,000 and the signal jet going up.
As Andre Beekers is taking to there. Martin Vetter is from the right. He's already lining up, checking his wheels. He's asking his wingman to get at his back so that he listen, can you tell me what how many wheels is out? And he tells him there's 3 wheels out. He'll take a turn downwind and he'll turn base deck. Andre comes in front of them, giving you a beautiful exercise.
Looking out for Andre in smoke now. Sure, he's going to give it a bit of a smoke now there, so you can see how the place is flying. Both these guys, highly precision guys, normally join kilogram trucks. The turbine, bring the turbine beside the jet. They use quite a few, and they can produce about 140,000 RPM, and at that range you'll find 16 kilogram thrust.
That's why these jets can move the way they do. Now Martin normally flies in on Reedy as Andre his jet. We've got Martin, all the guys from Joburg, and then we've got guys all the way and we've got Jean, who him and his father just gave you guys a wonderful display with the Boeing Stearman and him with his extra. He's going to give us a flight to the music as the last display today from the Aussie guys with the aero modeling gun. Something worth seeing, something uncertain, thrust, swing inside. Use paraffin or jet I1. Some models can also work on diesel. Onto the turbine startup, just as Andre finishes off with his display on the right.
To give you a bit of an indication of what they go through when they start off these jets. Cost-wise, everybody always wants to know how much it costs to get one of these jets. And see the turbine has got an electric motor on board, and it will start spinning the turbine up to about 3,300 RPM. And at that stage, where the parachute or generate what is high,
and then we monitor the turbine as it spools up to about 53,000 RPM, which then completes stage 1. As soon as it reaches that stage and it's over 100 degrees, the turbine computer will then accelerate the pump, which will then accelerate the turbine. The caller's job is to make sure that the runway is clear, keeps the signal safe, then he will take off, he opens up the throttle, and off he goes. You can hear that turbine going up all the way to 140,000 for takeoff. He'll ease off on the power, turn out to the right, pull his wheels in, pull the flaps up, make a left turn for the first flyby. Now I want you guys to really enjoy this plane. Steve spent, I think, almost 3 years putting this jet together, specifically for airshow displays, and he made 100% sure that this is very similar, if not exact, to the ones used at Star.
I'm 100% sure we've seen them many times before.
He's got a very big turbine inside that big Jeremy's, giving him about 32 kilograms of pure thrust. If he really pushes the jet, it opens up all the way. He has managed to reach speeds in excess of about 300 kilometers per hour. But mostly what Steve would do is showcase the jet. You will have 1 or 2 fast flypasses, but for most of it, it is a photograph moment for the guys as he pulls it up. And I'm sure it's going to give it a bit of a
beautiful plane, beautiful plane.
By Steve. On a plane like this, Steve makes sure that he's got all the feedback. So the plane, as it flies there, talks back to Steve on his radio. He's got the real life voice to keep him updated on his speed, on his height, his battery levels, and I think almost as far as his pressures that he's got with his system for his wheels. Should the system on board see any problems?
It was normal the impact, and the air is lost for some sort of reason. We automatically can state the system and the wheels will come up. That will be the indication that it's not wrong. And he will then do the fourth one and you won't find it. You will see what the one is.
It makes it difficult for these large scale jets. They take on a lot of fuel, 10, 11 kilograms of fuel to keep on board, and very difficult to land. If you take off and you have to land immediately after that, it makes it very, very difficult. Landing gear, it can only take up to so much, so the landing needs to be very soft. So the guys don't like doing that. They like to fly at least 5 to 6 minutes before the pitch.
I am dead sure that everybody wants to know what the cost of this is. And again, Steve's wife's here, and but Steve was the big honest guy. And he said,
I'll be honest, this one took a lot out of my pocket. Came in at about 5,500. Said Steve, it's absolutely marvelous for you to spend that.
Great way. And it should speak to anybody around here today. There's a big demand for engineers, or aviators, or pilots in Africa, and this is a great way.
Andre Meekes is pushing back his jet as Steve just checked his wheels. I see all 3 wheels are out, speaking to his spoiler, and now his spoiler is going to tell him, you know, what's the wind direction, what he can feel. Steve focuses on his plane, flying it downwind, preparing for his landing. Typically, Golo would just keep him calm as Steve just looks at his plane. He's going to apply flaps, make sure that the plane doesn't all of a sudden increase height or falls down. He's going to keep it steady.
As he turns to the right on the base deck, you must have a spiral descent towards the runway, keeping it under control. His caller would tell him, give him feedback, how far he is, how far out he is, how far over the runway he is. He keeps his RPM at about 60,000 RPM over the runway before he cuts completely. And that's because if you want to spool up, it takes about 2 to 3 seconds for the turbine to spool up. You have to be 100% sure
before you cut that noise. And as he does, he waits for the plane just to settle in. As he touches down, applies his brakes ever so slightly, and slowly but surely, scale-like, coming to a standstill. So big hand of applause for these jet guys. We really appreciate their effort as we make or prepare ourselves for the last display, which will be from Genre van der Schaar. Music starts to play. Already starting his roll. Smoke is on. To give you a beautiful display. You can now see the lights. See how he takes his extra on the music. He's trying to catch the beat. See what he can do. And I want the youngsters to keep a keen eye on Genre. It took him many exercises. Many times behind the sticks. Many times flying to achieve this level of flying. Guys, enjoy this. Genre is 18 years old already. He's achieved so much. Third place at Aerobatic. He was second at first in NSA competitions in the last 2-3 years. And if you follow Genre, you will see he spends a lot of his time in Qatar with his dad, Ivan van der Schaar. And he's already well known in Qatar. He helps all those big guys there fly their jets, set up their jets, and obviously give them a few tips or two. Currently flying a Hangar 9 Extra 300. He's got a 3W 110cc motor in it. And it produces, I would say, somewhere between 2 and 2.5 horsepower. Jean-Dirk's been flying this plane and putting it through his paces through a lot of air shows, a lot of shows. Just look at what he does with it. He puts it into a flat inverted spin, pulls the element, just yanks that plane. Doesn't worry about the structural strength, he doesn't care. And so by the way, he told me he is thinking of retiring this plane after this show. I think it's almost got like 400 or 500 flights already. And he's now going to look at a bigger plane for the next air shows.
He's going to be in line with his PPL, PPL, hopefully he's going to want to become one of the pilots stuff like that.
Lekker round of applause for Jean-Dirk van der Scar. Guys, we really hope that you've enjoyed the Capital Sounds. Thank you for this privilege. Thank you for borrowing us your mic. We're looking forward to seeing you.